I'm back. Calling to let me know that he might go to his coworker's birthday party after all that fiasco. And I call him back and he doesn't even answer the stinking phone. Gotta love your spouse sometimes. But I guess since we're having such a good conversation about these dreams, I guess I would explain to you guys kind of how people would have different kind of abilities and how about things like that are, because to the normal person, it's cookie talk or it's just different, but it's just more intuitive to me, I guess. To me, I can actually hear the other side. So I got really sick before. I flatlined twice when I was at the hospital. And when I did, it was very peaceful. I can remember dying very easily. And I really liked it a lot, and it was nice. But of course, my mother came to me and told me I needed to go back. But I believe once you've been sick, I believe once you've been sick or and things have happened to you, I believe that's when things end up going one way or another in your life. And I really do believe this. Like people that come back and it's in a positive way, sometimes I believe they come back with like different intuitive things. So mine was, I've always been a little bit intuitive, but not like when I got real sick. It just really went phew, out the door. I just seen it. It was like my third eye opened. Everything it was there. It really was. And I guess that what I would say was the first time my third eye opened was when I flatlined. A near death thing usually does it, extreme meditation. But it doesn't always happen that way with everyone. Death always has something it brings you back with. And you're more aware of the other side because you kind of were the other side for a minute. So sometimes you could communicate with things that other people can't. And I think this is where these different abilities come from, honestly. Oh, hello. We're talking about. I'm doing the backstory because I guess you guys on YouTube are big on backstories. I always get these comments, no backstory. So I'm trying to work on these backstories. But I was in ICU and I flatlined. And when I flatline, sometimes you come back, you're more intuitive of the other side. And I did see my mother. I didn't see a white light. I always want to say that when you die, it's a personal thing. Because I really didn't see that. We were in a bar drinking, me and my mom, so. And my mom used to always give me a little bit of Irish whiskey, usually like Bailey's or something. And we do like a shot or two, and it was great. But I feel it's whatever your comfort zone is, whatever you do. Like if you're extreme, like once you pass on, if you're extremely devoted and like in a Catholic descent or something, and you believe heaven has furry little angels with furry wings and all that good stuff, that's what you're going to see. I seen my mom at a bar and I was very comforted. I believe you just see what comforts you. But sometimes you can talk to things on that other side and it does humble you, death. And death has humbled me a lot. This is why I respect all life. Because I've seen life. Because when you die and you come back, it's kind of like you remember like you were born. And all the stuff you forgot when you were a baby comes to you if you're able to come back. And I do think you got to get some kind of permission for this thing to come back. I mean, I can't be certain, but I would think so. I would think that it's not a random coincidence you come back. To me, I mean, just seeing things like that and dying coming back, I mean, I know I believe in a higher power, but I don't know which one's wrong and which one's right, or if they're all just right, just different versions of the truth. To me, that's where I'm at. I was born and raised Catholic. I had all my sacraments. My happiest memories was when I was younger in the Catholic Church because my mom was obviously still alive. Does it mean that that's going to be my first and last religion? No. It just means my happiest memories are there and I feel comfort in Catholic stuff, but it doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It's just what comforted me. And I always seem to kind of go back and respect Catholic ways a little bit more because of it. And it's okay. That's what people do. But I guess that's part of the backstory. And sometimes, I get, when do get like the entities talk to you, it's always messages through your mind. They never. It's not like on the Sixth Sense or nothing. It's not nothing like that. It really isn't. That would be terrifying if it was really like that. You wouldn't be able to live a normal life. None of this stuff is like the Sixth Sense. Trust me. Sometimes you get warnings. A lot of times every day I do get some kind of warnings. I mean, the only messages I've gotten lately, they all have to do with this eclipse. It's supposed to be a transfer of, it's just something that's happening on this eclipse and something with a transfer of energy. And I'm thinking that this transfer of energy on April 8th isn't just on a spiritual level. I think it might be it. I just pick up that it might be something with even a scientific lab. Because they have all those different kinds of instruments and all those, like NASA type thing. And with all their satellites and stuff, it has to do something with that. I don't know if a satellite's gonna go out or what's going on, but it's gonna be miraculous when this happens. But I do feel there's some kind of something. There's a satellite that's following. And sometimes it worries me. I don't think it really messes with the gravity too much. But we are going to find out something, and there is going to be some kind of major, and I think it's going to be something we even may have created. Because if you think about it, we're sending all this stuff out there in space. And we really are sending a lot of stuff out. We don't know the effect that what we are sending out there does. Sometimes just having our when meteorites hit another planet, sometimes the and just in our polar caps in Alaska and different parts, there's meteorites in the ocean all the time. And those oceans, they're putting different substances that are in space down on the earth with living things. Sometimes that's a good thing or bad thing. Sometimes it leads to mutations. It's not always the best thing. You really don't know, and that's the thing. I mean, a germ could take out a whole species, really. If if one of our earth germs gets somewhere else, or one of their germs gets to us, it might be deadly. I just feel there's something going on. There's something shady going on with some kind of scientific lab. And I just can't pinpoint it. And I believe it has to do with this eclipse. There's going to be an attempt to something that's dangerous that's done. And I can't tell you what. But sometimes when the dead speak, they give you mixed messages like this. They really do. And it's just not like I said. I mean, to me, it doesn't freak me out because I do realize that I live for a reason, and I'm okay with it. But I do realize that some people need to be heard, or something has to get out for some reason, and that I do understand also. And I'm not trying to be that weird, crazy person that has that weird channel talking about aliens and this and that, like they used to always have back in the day, which I think they have over here on YouTube. I'm just getting things out because I feel like I know this stuff, and maybe somebody else has a part of the answer. I don't really know. Or it may just account to nothing, you know what I mean? They might be trying to do something, but we're talking about celestial bodies out there. Talking about the moon and the sun. Wherever they go, they're going to go. They're large and in charge. Either way, they can kill us if they get too close or too far away. So even if we have our futile attempts, it probably won't even bother them. They're so big and majestic and doing their thing. I don't think we could affect them, even if we tried on our best day. Because the moon's been around for a long time. And we have not been able to do anything with the moon but barely get there. So, and it's true. Yeah, we got there, we landed on it. We didn't harvest it. That we didn't. We discovered it, but there was no harvesting. Because to harvest the universe would be very complicated. You'd have to go around a lot of black holes. It would be it would be a lot to harvest the universe. I don't even think you'd want to because there'd be certain spots that wouldn't be worth it. So I gotta get this a little bit twice as long now. But but honestly, yeah. I do feel like this thing on April 8th is It's a major shift. And I guess what some people go, "What do you believe in? What you believe in?" I do believe in energy. I do believe in the universe, and I do believe there's a major cord of energy out there. And I do believe that this major cord of energy is constantly trying to balance out. I feel that all the time. It's always trying to balance itself out. And I believe that when our energy, it like bounces off us. I mean, if you think about it, being in the right position in the right galaxy and some space dust and this and that, this is what came out. Earth. And then in our primitive form, we evolved and things from space just kept shooting down into the soil. So one day a part of our brain got overdeveloped and we got smarter. I mean, you could say it's divine. I like to always try to say things scientifically, but sometimes I gotta believe in existence of something because every day I get prophetic dreams. I really do. And where does it come from? It has to come from somewhere. So I'm saying the great energy in the sky, which would have to be the light god. I mean, if you have one god that's in charge of death, one would have to be in charge of life, and that would be that god. And then is it really a god or just a very strong entity? These are questions I have. I don't have all the answers, but I try to think of it logically. I think it's just a lot of energy and it communicates with everybody differently. I mean, it probably communicates to people that aren't religious because everybody, lives by some kind of moral code. Even the mafia, when I was reading that book, had a moral code. Any kind of species that has a moral code is somewhat civilized. A moral code, I believe, defines a race of beings, which humans are a race of beings. And I believe our morality code defines us because that's why we say who's bad and who's good, because of this morality code. And we have a high morality code. We always have. That's why we value our mates. That's why we value our children. It just drives us to do better. Just this primitive need. And not all primates are like us. They really are. Hey, who? I wanted to say that's hello. I'm not big on slang, but we'll go with hello. And how are you doing? I'm trying to work on my conversational streaming. Would you like to? Do you want me to do tarot cards? Because I can finish this row up and do those. It's just sometimes I get bored of them. I was doing them so much on Instagram. I just started and I got my knitting needles and then just I figure I can finish so many things. So That's why, I come in and vlog, and it does help me because, like I said, I have the social anxiety. I'm good, thank you. Oh, I'm glad. Oh, I'm great. I'm just sitting here chilling on a Friday. Had a long work week, very long work week, and I had an ear infection. I took all my penicillin for that. And then on April 11th, I got a dentist appointment. And I probably got like five of them because I'm trying to hurry these dentists up because I have a chipped tooth and they're doing everything but my chipped tooth, and it's really kind of pissing me off. I really hate that they ignore my chipped tooth. They literally did two gum treatments. And I'm talking like going up in the gums about like 1 or 2 inches and pulling stuff out to where my gums were bleeding out for like 3, 4 days, but not in gobs. So, and then I go through all this. And then every time I mention my chipped tooth, I get a look. And then I tell them, is it ever going to be done? I swear to God, by the time the end of summer, I will finally have my chip fixed. But everybody's concerned about my gums. So I've had two really intense deep cleanings. And then when I go see this other dentist, on top of that, they want to do another cleaning and x rays. I'm hoping cleaning time is done. I've been gargling with peroxide to try them to get them to do something else. These dentists these days, this is what they're interested in, is looking at your damn gums. On that x-ray, if they don't feel they can start your dental work, they will literally send you to these oral surgeons out, or get their own oral surgeons in there. Oh, oh, that's okay. I've had ear infections my whole life. I get them all the time. I get them in the change of season. I got this ear infection because I literally, it was cold, then it went warm, 'cause it's Ohio. It is what it is. And then it just keeps going back and forth. So it just messed with me. I had bad sinuses, and bam. I had leftover I had leftover antibiotics, and I save them for these occasions because it's Ohio weather. It doesn't know if it wants to be winter or summer. The first day of spring, it was snowing. This is what it does where I live. It doesn't know what it wants to do. Honestly, I've lived in Ohio my entire life, and it's like that. It's very pure. It's like it reminds me of the Puritans here too. We were one of the last states for gambling, and it's really sad. They have very high ethics. The Cleveland Browns, it's like they're so set in their morals. They let, I forgot which football player it was, but he ended up, like, if you have like any kind of criminal stuff, they won't let you be on the Browns. And the one guy was involved with dog fighting, and I think it was Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know, one of those Steelers. It was a Steelers player. It might not have been Ben Roethlisberger, but it's one of the Steelers players. It might have not been the most popular, but the Browns let him go because Of all the, he had a lot of domestic, and it was, I don't think it was Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know. I'm not really big. I like football, but I don't know every detail, and I don't keep up with it in the sports. But anyways, I think it was like years ago, but he had a fiance, and the Browns ended up drafting him or something like that, and he got pinned with a domestic, and they got rid of him. And then when marijuana was a hot topic, one of the Browns players tested positive for marijuana, and they made him go to rehab and everything. So it's a very conservative town. I mean, we do have over here, we are starting to get a heroin problem. And I find it very sad because it was a nice, peaceful state, and now we're starting to get, we got the methamphetamine stuff thing going, and it's starting to get bad in certain neighborhoods, and it's really sad. I don't like to see the destruction of society and life. And it does add random chaos to a person's life when you're dealing with somebody in the family that's on that stuff. And it's really sad. My husband's brother's on a lot of drugs, and he's just out there, and he was in some kind of house. It was like a place that you went to, it was almost like a rehab psych place. He was there, and then he got hooked on stuff, and they couldn't find him like a group home thing, like in a better neighborhood, and they ended up putting him in a neighborhood that had a lot of drugs, and he went right back to drugs, and a psychiatrist was looking for him and all this, and I mean, honestly, now we're just waiting for the day we find out, we get the call that his brother's dead, and we gotta bury him. And it's very sad. It really is. And then we got a family friend. Her son just got hooked on heroin. It's taken a lot of good people. And it's getting to the point where it's like everybody has a story like that. It doesn't matter where you live. It's happening everywhere now. I mean, I know the government's trying to regulate it, or if they are, if they aren't, I don't know. But all I know, it's hurting a lot of people. And honestly, I don't know if it's worth all the money that it's bringing in, because it's bringing in so much misery. The shipment of all these drugs, and it does really bother my soul when all this happens. I don't like it because I see energies. I actually can look at people and see their auras and different things. When you see somebody's aura, when they have a lot of problems with like drugs and stuff, it goes dull. It's like faded out. The colors aren't nice and pretty, and it's it's like their spiritual force went down. And it's really sad because some people have really pretty auras and some really don't. And it makes me sad that a person that was born with certain potential doesn't get to live it, and they're gonna die a tortured existence. I mean, then maybe in the next life they'll be okay, but I'm just hoping things in the world get a little better so people can have better experiences and it's not so horrible all the time. Because it really is, it's sad. It's sad to watch people's auras that were bright and shiny and promising to dull. And then all you could do is separate yourself at one point. And then it's who is solely responsible for all this. Can you really say it's the government? Because it goes by supply and demand when you're talking about drugs and different things. Just like if you what it was to own a store, you can only get what people want. Is it really the people or the thing? I mean, if the government is bringing it in, it's only because the people want it. If nobody wanted it and everybody had this universal effort, say we don't want your drugs, they would stop selling them. And that's the God honest truth. Because if they don't, they're not making a profit, and everybody's saying, you know what, here's some fentanyl. We don't want this in our neighborhood. We're giving it to you here to get rid of it. And then if you just gave it up to the police office, officers all the time, and nobody was smoking fentanyl, they would have to get rid of it. The fact is that everybody wants to smoke it, and then heroin. They want to shoot it up or whatever which way, but they just get hooked on these different harder drugs and it is sad. I mean, I see a really pretty life force that goes from bright to shiny and dull, and that can really flicker out at any time. And it's just sad. We were not meant for this. We were meant to pass happiness and connections. That's what we're meant to do. We're not meant to separate. That's why these pigs bother me so much. This industrial farming. They put these pigs in a cage. They don't even get to sometimes get to see their kids. They just sit there with their teats out, and they don't even get to spend time with their brothers and with their children. When you pull families apart, there's a lot of different consequences. And there's been a pull because when I was younger, I mean, there was families that were torn apart, but they tried to keep families together. And there was drugs, but not like these. I think pot was our biggest thing back then, and the embalming fluid, and that's it. And I stopped smoking pot for like 15 years after that because I didn't want the embalming fluid. Now there's so much drugs and drug stories. It's destroying families. It really is. And more young people are dying than older people. And the thing is it's not good for our numbers in the armies or anything. How our country can't protect itself if everybody's on these different drugs. And there are programs and stuff to get off it, but what is the really reason that everybody's going on it? I mean, you could say, I mean, we all just need to say no to all these drugs, but then fentanyl is given by the medical community. Like, you get that from the nurse. So, older people are addicted to it. So, I don't know the answers to everything. I really don't. All I know is everybody's auras and our life forces are dulling out. And that's not a good thing when your life force dulls out like that. It really is horrific when that happens. And I will testify to that. I mean, hopefully people could survive all these bad things going on in the world, but I mean, to be a part of all that kind of darkness is, to me, it's silly, but to other people, this is how they chose to live their existence. Not separating themselves from their families and going with their friends, and that's it. But I don't, like I said, I don't know the answers. I really don't. I try to just focus on myself, but the thing is, you focus on yourself, you think you wanna call so and so. Oh, I can't. He's homeless and on the street and doing heroin. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people going through things, and it's not even my child. So, and I feel this way. I could just imagine how his mother feels. We haven't talked to his mother in a long time, but it's just terrible. And you got to give support to these and to these guys. You really do. Because the families, what happens when this happens in a family is just stinking terrible. It really is. Especially if your mom's older. I have a friend at work, and she had two kids that died. One was shot, and one had a heart attack. And she's only 50. And it's a lot. And I don't know if it's just us as a people being like this, but I don't know if half the problems is people are on the different drugs, which could be. It can make you more depressed. It can make you a lot of things, these drugs. That's why you gotta be careful. That's why I would never do these drugs. Anyone with clinical depression would. Sometimes they have the opposite effect. That's why I just like to do medical marijuana. I know that I never have any side effects. It's less invasive for me, and it's a natural mood and uplifter. It takes away my social anxiety, so I'm able to stream. I'm not able to stream, when I first started at all without it. Because I don't really like taking some of the medicines they give me because they're not good for you. Some of the stuff they wanted to give me was not great. But the medical marijuana is working out, so I'm grateful for that. And it's a lot safer than what I was taking, so. But I'm really trying to get this curtain longer. I would really like to get my curtains up tomorrow and just stream getting this embroidery thing going. Sometimes it just takes so long to get your stuff going. But yeah, I mean, it really makes me sad. I mean, yeah, I got the animal awareness groups and, family groups over there. But the reason the animals are getting abused is because we're angry. Or some of us are angry and high, and we got a puppy. You're angry and high and have a puppy, or you're on heroin. What do you think's gonna happen? Little kids get abused. Animals are getting abused because of it. And people and kids. It's making people more violent. And that's not good. It's not good at all to be violent. And the violence comes from taking things to a bad place. You have a bad day, Like I kind of, sometimes I have a real stressful day at work. I honestly just come home and knit. This is what I do. Some people play video games. I guess, and I like to live stream because I look at it as I'm on the telephone. That's to me. I'm on the telephone, but I guess I'm on a video call. So that's how I like to think of live streaming. You're on a video call with a lot of people that could join in like a party line. Because when I was growing up, I mean, I know it sounds terrible, but and showing my age, but we had a rotary phone. We finally got a non-rotary phone as time went on, but yeah, we started with a rotary phone, and it was a different world then. Was people angry? Yes, but I feel they're more angry now, and at least there was middle class when I grew up. There's barely any now, and that's sad. But we need to have some kind of shift. We need a middle class. We need somehow businesses to get stable. I don't know how that's going to happen. I'm hoping with this shift of positive energy on April 8th, which it is, I feel the shift of positive coming. Oh, it's going to give a lot of positive on April 8th. But as it's giving positive, it's taking the energy from the negative, and it's going to humble a lot of people. Because we're in this situation because people literally are just not nice anymore. We're not. We're judgmental. We don't leave the house, and a lot of people aren't nice in the world. And the ones that are fake nice, they're very judgmental. All of them. And it's terrible for me to say, but this really is where the world has come. There's just a lot of judgmentalness in it. And I'm trying to make it the world a little different because I'm in the world and I have kids in the world. And I'm going to continue to try to make the world better through my social groups and Facebook. And I do this because it's something I like to do for me. I like to stream, I like to do arts and crafts, and I'm enjoying streaming. And this I do enjoy, so that's why I don't mind coming over here. Because there's no agendas, there's hardly any scammers over here, and I don't care what people say, scammers are everywhere, blah blah blah. There's hardly any scammer on YouTube. I get them all the time over at Facebook, but I barely ever see them here. If there was a scammer, someone would be saying something crazy and ridiculous and tell me go to what's up. They always want you to go to what's up. And it's like, no. I don't know, that's where most of the scammers seem, by that what's up. Because I have a check mark, I get a lot of scammers. I get calls all the time because I'm a digital creator over there. And they are a lot of scammers. Which I don't understand why they want to steal because all that comes back to what you take from others. I think it's to go on 3 times as much as taken from you. So I think that's usually like a witch's code type thing. My mom used to always say that. So if you took $10 out of your mom's purse, you're gonna lose $30 of your own money. And that's to teach you a lesson, not steal. And when you understand universal laws, it's not so bad. You could, I mean, if you go to a store and let's say they were set to throw away a bunch of stuff, but let's say you shoplifted some before they threw it away, maybe you'll get in trouble with human law, but I don't think you get in trouble with universal law. I really don't. I think you're fine with the universe. I mean, if you're just literally going somewhere to feed your family, they might say it's a sin, but the thing is, we don't know what God allows and doesn't allow. I haven't talked to him. I mean, I don't know what his rule is with everything, but I don't think God would care if you were having to feed your children and you had to run in the store and take a steak or something to try to feed your kids or take a piece of meat. I mean, I think God may prefer that you found another way, but I don't think he's going to chastise you for that all the same. Because I really don't think he's going to do that. And that's the God honest truth. So, but I mean, that's just my opinion. Like I've always said, I'm not here to judge anybody. I just feel sad because of the world around me. I don't associate with many people because of just my mother-in-law. She's very religious. She said everybody's going to hell. I don't know if I fully believe that, but I do believe there's a lot of people being tested. I mean, we butt heads on this subject, in that we do, because I believe everybody's always savable. You can always come back to your other path. You just sometimes have a lot of explaining to do when you get back. It's like coming back home. You ran away from home and came back, and you just have to have a lot of explaining to do, and then you're fine. That's how life is. You're constantly running back home. You just find a different home along the way. You really do. I find a lot of different. I mean, to me, I've had home 3 times. It's you always have different versions of home as you get older, and that's absolutely true. Having different versions of the truth isn't so horrible. Sometimes it's a gift to be able to relive the different versions of the truth because you got if you're still around and doing the right thing, you're going to watch a lot of people fall. And I feel this is why people that are more light bearing get more depressed too. Because they literally have to watch and let go everybody that they cared about. And that could be a hard thing. It really can. I'm not going to lie. Because I don't know how I will feel about it all, but I mean, that's just personally what I feel. I'm trying to give you guys a good backstory. Because I guess that's what people do when they live stream, they give backstories, so I'm trying. In my live streams, I try to do this. I think this is like a really pretty card. I'm going to try to get like a piece of wood or something to put through some of these. Because it would be nice if I had a really big wooden thing to go through all these small holes. I'm going to see if I have anything. Even like a cord or anything that goes through here. And then I could put it all through there, and what I would need is like a large stick type thing, kind of like these, but not these because these cost for like 5 pairs cost me $35, and I use these with my lacy stitch, so I got like certain needles put out for certain occasions. But this is literally my personal fun. I am not the most interesting, but yeah. I mean, if you literally are going through things, I honestly understand. And I guess facing my own demons and trying to do this kind of keeps my mind off things. And that's why my husband he'll support me a lot. When I started my Snapchat, he was the first one to be my friend on Snapchat. So, because he really does support me in the things I do. And I'm grateful because he really is a nice guy. I mean, not to say that the others weren't. I mean, if they weren't so angry all the time, I probably have a better perspective, but I don't really hate anybody. I just decided a long time ago to go through all the effort of hating somebody. It's like you empower them. And I try not to empower people that are using negative energy all the time. That's what the spirits always tell me to do. Don't empower. Don't let the living empower you, or don't empower them. It's always one or the other. They're always talking about empowering, and they do. They talk about empowering all the time because I guess maybe that's how things are done in a spiritual plane. Is that, and they can get kind of that result because of church and people with their fond little memories. And that is absolutely true. So, it is. People don't think it is, but it absolutely is true. But I'm going to do this row here, and I'm getting really exhausted. And I'm going to try to do another stream later, because I got to get, I'm really doing well with finishing this curtain project. It's just because I keep every time I go on social media, I'm trying to get pieces and parts of this done. Because the more rows I get with this and get this down longer, the more I can start putting this project together. And then think of another project to do. Something else in my house needs something yard related and didn't know about it. This is what I do. But it's something positive for me to look forward to every day instead of all these negative things. Because negative things literally get you nowhere. And this is really, really true. As soon as I'm done with this, I'll do a tarot reading. I just get so involved when I'm doing art. Because it really does relax me. And it does help me deal with social anxiety, just doing different activities. And I don't know if that's the autism too talking. I don't know. Sometimes the autism is loud, sometimes it's not because I'm very high functioning. That's probably why I feel the way I feel because deep down I'm always doing nice things. And autistic people generally are nice. People on the spectrum are just not mean people. And I just think it's the demeanor because you're just so used to respecting everybody. And then sometimes you avoid people because people are not nice to people that are in the spectrum at all sometimes. They really aren't. I worked with kids with special needs for a while, and people aren't nice to these kids. They make fun of them a lot. I mean, some people are very arrogant in the world, and arrogance is something spirits do not like. Because with arrogance leads to mistakes, and when you get too egotistical, you are constantly always. I don't know. It's like you blame others for your own shortcomings, and then anyone that's around you kind of gets caught up in it. But I'm gonna do a tarot reading for close this off. I didn't know people thought my stuff was this interesting, and I mean I'm excited, so I'm probably gonna take me a nap and do another reading. So I'll do a reading for the energy of probably whatever. I'll do a reading and for whoever it's meant to go for. See, I'd like to move my stuff around 8 times because for some reason it's just the number I vibe with. I don't know why it just is. But somebody in this group here, they were it was a romantic business type thing. It started out business and started a little bit romantic, so it was I believe it was a male and female. I believe like the female it was it's something about a business arrangement. And that's in the past. That's the past card. The present of this whole situation is a time to give rather than take. Well, I should say this. I got the new moon card, which is a new start, and that was your past. And the new moon of Virgo is your present and a time to give rather than take. So things aren't doing well, but there's movement towards investing and making more money. And then the future to this is communication. You got new moon in Gemini. As you guys aren't communicating about numbers right. That I did pick up from somebody that's on here. And I can do my little cards. I just sometimes never meet the people or know them. But so whoever is having a business venture, something over here, honestly, just try to communicate. You don't want your money being messed with. It wouldn't be a good, happy, positive thing. It really wouldn't. Alright, now I'm gonna swish it around 8 times. Alright, now there's somebody in this group. You got the third quarter moon. Adjustments are required. This is pertaining to a living in a romantic relationships. So somebody here is adjusting. I want to say you guys just moved together. And I want to say this is somebody just literally just moved in with somebody and they're kind of aggravated with that person. The present is new moon in Aquarius and it's bring love into the situation. There's so many financial burdens going on right now the, that one of you want to give up and just find somebody that has more money and is more stable. The future is nothing will come out of the situation in the future, void of horsemen. It means the love is never coming back. Wow. Whoever it was that this happened to, I'm sorry. I am truly sorry to hear about this. And I hope that you get, I don't know, I just hope that things work out. I've been in toxic relationships where I was in love, thought I was in love, and then I wasn't, and it really does suck. And I'm sorry this happened to you. So, let me put this around, get another reading. You do a couple readings and do this. Alright. 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 Somebody in the past had got the new moon eclipse, which is powerful change. That could be good or bad. The present of this is the end of a tough cycle is full moon in Capricorn with the end of a rough cycle approaches. You guys were going through a lot of stuff, a lot, and you sticking it through. I don't even feel that this is romantic. I think this is more like a family situation. This is some kind of family that's been suffering. And there's been a lot in the past. There was a powerful change. And then it's you guys just been trying to go through the motions because it wasn't a good change. Somebody just up and left you. Up and left. And you've been in this, but the present is the end of a tough cycle approaches, which is good because you're going to be out of that rough cycle. For your future card, you got Blue Moon, believe in the impossible. Something good is going to come out of this because you've been suffering for a while. So, I hope you guys hang in there because it seems like a hard thing for everyone to go through. Free reading naked. Oh, you're funny. Oh, you're really funny. I don't be doing all that, but thank you for wanting to see me naked. But I'm gonna go take me a nap. And I will probably be back on in a little bit because I still got a little knitting on it, stuff to go. And I did find my cards, and I'm not allowed to play music in the stream. I'm not allowed to have Netflix going in my stream. There's a lot of stuff I'm not allowed to do over here that I usually do on Instagram, and it makes me sad that I can't have music on my stream. I can smoke weed in my stream, but whoop de doo. I mean, smoking is smoking. I mean, Instagram never gave a crap about that either. And I guess that's the one thing I do miss. But it's nice to have music. But you have everybody upset about this is my song and their song, and I get it, but I can't even have relaxation or some fun new age music in here. And it really, really makes me sad. So, I guess it is what it is. I am on YouTube now, so I'm trying to make the best out of it. I don't think that rule's ever changing, ever. So, I'm just gonna have to deal with it, I guess. But I've been up since 4:30 this morning, so I'm taking me a nap for a while, and I'm shocked I made it 2 streams this far without falling asleep. So I will talk to you guys in a little bit. And thank you for being a good audience. And I will talk to you guys when I wake up from my nap.